Christmas in America is pure chaos, not the festive kind, the I want to sue Santa kind. And today you're getting 69 of the dumbest, pettiest, most unhinged Christmas complaints real Americans actually filed. If you thought holiday stress was bad, wait till you meet the people who treat December like a customer service battlefield. Let's go unwrap this madness. 1. One woman flew all the way to the Caribbean for Christmas and immediately demanded a full refund. Her complaint was not about the food or the room, but the beach itself. She seriously expected the resort to cover the white sand with artificial snow just for the holiday week to match the brochure's White Christmas slogan. She claimed the sunny weather ruined her festive vibe and felt scammed by the lack of winter. Lady, if you want frostbite, just stay in Buffalo. 2. A guy actually tried to return a bundle of fresh mistletoe to a garden center on December 26th, claiming it was defective. He told the confused manager that he stood under the plant for 3 solid hours at a party, and not a single woman kissed him. He accused the store of false advertising for selling a plant that did not come with a legal guarantee of romance. Maybe the plant was fine, and you just need a better personality. 3. An upscale New York hotel got a 1-star review because the housekeeping staff was actually too efficient. The guest was furious that the maid threw away his festive holiday display while he was out of the room. It turns out his precious decorations were just 30 empty beer cans he had stacked into a pyramid on the desk. He insisted it was an aluminum Christmas tree, but to the rest of the world, that is just a recycling problem. 4. You would think booking a ski trip implies you are okay with freezing temperatures, but this family missed the memo. They visited a Colorado resort and filed a formal complaint that the snow was too cold for their children's hands. They genuinely suggested the resort should invest in heated artificial snow so guests could enjoy the winter aesthetic without the inconvenience of gloves. Physics apparently took a holiday for these people. 5. A frantic mother dialed 911 on Christmas Eve to report a home intruder, and the police rushed to the scene. They found 0 burglars, but they did find a very embarrassed woman who realized she was the one who moved the elf on the shelf while tipsy the night before. Instead of apologizing, she tried to file a complaint against the toy company for making the doll look too realistic. Officer, arrest that elf for emotional distress. 6. A grocery manager had to deal with a customer returning a Christmas ham that was just a completely bare bone. The family had eaten every scrap of meat, yet she demanded a full cash refund because it was too salty. When the manager explained that cured pork is supposed to be salty, she threatened to sue the store for spiking her husband's blood pressure. At this point, the pig should sue her back. 7. Homeowners. Associations can be nightmares, but this resident takes the cake for insanity. She filed a formal grievance claiming her neighbors' flashing Christmas lights were too aggressive. She insisted the blinking LED pattern was sending secret Morse code messages that were personally insulting her dog. The board had to verify it was a factory setting, but I think the only thing blinking here is her grip on reality. 8. A retail giant received a bizarre email complaining that their premium wrapping paper was too loud. The customer was not mad about the print, but she claimed the ripping noise was excessive. Apparently, the crinkling sound woke up her cat, which then panicked and knocked over the tree. She seriously requested they invent silent stealth mode paper for next year to prevent future feline chaos. 9. A cooking hotline took a call from a man who was absolutely irate that his 20-pound turkey would not fit inside a small toaster oven. He blamed the turkey producer for not labeling the bird as incompatible with small appliances. He refused to listen to reason, microwaved parts of the raw bird, and then called back to complain about food poisoning. Natural selection is working overtime this holiday season. 10. One mother went to war against a mall Santa because her son did not get the sold-out video game console he wanted. She claimed that when Santa said, "We will see what we can do," he breached a binding verbal contract. She demanded the mall management track down the console or fire the actor for shattering her child's dreams. Ma'am, Santa is a magical elf, not an Amazon fulfillment center. 11. A family staying at a mountain lodge filed a formal complaint because the snowman they built in the morning had melted by the afternoon. They blamed the hotel for not maintaining freezing conditions on the sun-drenched patio and requested a refund for their kids' emotional trauma. They seemed to think the hotel staff had a dial to control the sun. Apparently, solar radiation is now a liability issue for the hospitality industry. 12. A petting zoo received a furious email from a father who demanded his money back after visiting the reindeer exhibit. He was genuinely angry because the reindeer remained firmly on the ground and did not fly, which made his son cry. He accused the zoo of crushing the magic of Christmas by hosting defective animals. Sir, unless you feed them magic dust, gravity still applies to livestock. 13. A customer hauled a 6-foot Douglas fir back to the tree lot on December 24th, screaming that it was broken. She was appalled that the tree was shedding needles onto her carpet and claimed it was defective. The seller tried to explain that it is a dying plant, not a plastic decoration, but she demanded a non-shedding organic tree or a full refund. That is like buying a dog and complaining that it barks. 14. One shopper filed a noise complaint against a Salvation Army bell ringer outside a department store. The issue was not the bell itself, but the volunteer's excessive cheerfulness. The woman claimed his constant Merry Christmas greetings were sarcastic and triggered her migraine. She suggested he should just stand there silently and hold the bucket like a statue, because nothing says holiday spirit like mandated silence. 15. An airline passenger stranded in Chicago during a blizzard screamed at the gate agent for ruining his holiday. He was not mad about the delay, but rather that the pilot refused to fly through the whiteout conditions. He insisted that if Santa could fly in a snowstorm, a commercial jet should have no problem. I am pretty sure Rudolph has better navigation sensors than a Boeing 737. 16. A bakery received a 1-star review from a customer who chipped a tooth on their gingerbread house kit. The man was furious that the structural walls of the house were hard as a rock. He ignored the fact that it is construction-grade cookie meant for display, not a soft snack. He actually wanted the bakery to pay his dental bill for eating the load-bearing walls. Next time, stick to the gumdrops and leave the architecture alone. 17. A mother called a chocolate company to complain that their advent calendar was faulty and poorly designed. The problem was that her child had eaten all 24 chocolates on December 1st and was now crying because the box was empty. She blamed the company for not putting a child-proof lock on each individual door. Personal responsibility is apparently not included in the nutritional facts. 18. An office worker filed a genuine report with Human Resources because her secret Santa gift was underwhelming. She received a scented candle worth $15, which was exactly the spending limit, but she felt she deserved something more personal. She claimed the generic gift created a hostile work environment and demanded a redo of the entire office exchange. HR likely needs a stiff drink after reading that file. 19. A man called the corporate headquarters of a major retail chain on December 26th to complain about his local store. He was outraged that he drove there on Christmas Day to buy batteries and found the doors locked. He screamed that closing for the holiday was discriminatory against people who forget things. Imagine being angry that employees are home with their families instead of selling you AA batteries. 20. A lactose-intolerant woman bought a carton of traditional eggnog and then contacted the manufacturer to complain about her stomach issues. She was shocked to learn that the drink contained milk and cream, despite the ingredients being listed right on the back. She argued that nog does not imply dairy and demanded they rename the product to Milk Punch to avoid confusion. Reading is fundamental, but apparently optional for her. 21. The turkey cooking hotline gets thousands of calls, but this one stands out for sheer stupidity. A panicked cook called on Christmas morning asking how to thaw a 20-pound turkey in 10 minutes. When told it was impossible, she asked if she could put the frozen bird in the dryer on the tumble cycle to speed it up. Please do not put poultry in your laundry appliances for the sake of your clothes and your stomach. 22. A father demanded a refund for his photo package because the mall Santa had a fake beard. He claimed his 6-year-old son spotted the elastic band and was now questioning the existence of magic. The dad insisted the mall should only hire elderly men with real, waist-length natural white beards to maintain authenticity. I guess labor laws and genetics should just bend to his specific whims. 23. A neighborhood in Ohio had a resident call the police on a group of Christmas carolers. She was not complaining about the noise level or the time of night, but rather their pitch. She told the dispatcher that their off-key singing was disturbing the peace and ruining her silent night. The police politely informed her that being tone-deaf is not actually a criminal offense. 24. TSA agents at a busy airport had to deal with a traveler who was absolutely shocked that her carry-on was confiscated. She had packed a collection of 6-inch glass snow globes filled with liquid in her handbag. When security explained the liquids rule, she filed a complaint stating that holiday magic should be exempt from federal aviation safety regulations. Apparently, she thought TSA stood for the Santa Association. 25. One genius homeowner bought a 10-foot Christmas tree and then tried to return it the next day because it didn't fit in his house. He didn't measure his ceilings, which were only 8 feet high. He blamed the tree farm for not putting a warning label on the pine that said, "Objects may be larger than your living room." I guess he expected the tree to duck when it walked through the door. 26. A furious parent called a toy manufacturer on Christmas morning threatening a lawsuit. Her child opened a remote-controlled car, but it didn't work immediately because there were no batteries in the box. She claimed the phrase, "batteries not included," was just a suggestion, and that the company ruined the holiday by being cheap. Ma'am, reading the box is a prerequisite for operating the toy. 27. Some people take tradition way too seriously. An HOA board received a frantic complaint from a resident about her neighbor's outdoor display. The issue wasn't the brightness, but the color. She claimed the neighbor's use of all blue lights was historically inaccurate and caused her physical anxiety because it didn't look like a traditional Christmas. Unless she is the Grinch, I don't see how blue lights hurt her soul. 28. We have all heard of bold returns, but this one is legendary. A woman walked into a Costco in January dragging a dead, brown Christmas tree behind her. She demanded a full refund because the tree died after only 3 weeks. The store actually gave her the money, but the internet roasted her for expecting a severed tree corpse to live forever. Next time, just buy a plastic one and spare the poor cashier. 29. A bakery manager was left speechless when a customer brought back a gingerbread man with a snapped leg. The cookie broke in the bag on the way home, which is what happens when you crush fragile baked goods. The customer insisted the cookie was structurally unsound and demanded a replacement that was reinforced with better icing. It is a cookie, sir, not a suspension bridge. 30. Animal control received a waste-of-time call about a living nativity scene at a local church. The caller was concerned that the donkey in the display looked bored and depressed. She claimed it was animal cruelty to make a donkey stand still without entertainment. I am not sure what she expected the donkey to do, maybe perform a tap dance or juggle some gold, frankincense, and myrrh. 31. Online shopping brings out the worst in procrastinators. One guy ordered a customized handmade gift on December 23rd and went ballistic when it didn't arrive by Christmas morning. He left a scathing review blaming the artisan for ruining his marriage because she couldn't bend the laws of time and space to ship it overnight. Poor planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on hers. 32. One hotel guest in Florida complained that his ocean view room didn't feel Christmassy enough. He was upset that he couldn't see any reindeer or snow from his balcony, despite being in a tropical climate. He actually suggested the hotel should project holograms of Santa's sleigh over the ocean, so his kids wouldn't be confused. Maybe next year book a room at the North Pole instead of Miami. 33. This guy missed the entire point of the party. He bought an ugly Christmas sweater from a vintage store and then tried to return it because people laughed at him. He told the clerk that the insults hurt his feelings and the sweater did its job too well. He wanted a refund for emotional damage caused by his own fashion choice. Buddy, you literally signed up for the ridicule. 34. Cable companies deal with a lot, but this complaint is special. A subscriber called technical support because the Yule log channel on his TV wasn't giving off any heat. He genuinely thought the high-definition fire loop was supposed to warm up his living room like a virtual space heater. He threatened to cancel his service because the fire was defective. Someone needs to take the remote away from him. 35. Residents in snowy states usually appreciate the plow drivers, but not this guy. He filed a formal complaint with the city because the snowplow noise woke him up at 4 a.m. He demanded that the city only plow the roads after 10 a.m. so he could sleep in. He failed to realize that without the plows, he wouldn't be able to drive to work to pay for that house. 36. A restaurant hostess had to deal with a family of 12 who showed up on Christmas Eve without a reservation. When told there were no tables, the father screamed, "Do you know who I am?" and demanded they kick out another family to make room. He claimed it was illegal to deny a hungry family on a holiday. Sir, this is a steakhouse, not a biblical inn in Bethlehem. 37. One aspiring Olympian visited a public ice skating rink and immediately demanded to speak to the manager. She wasn't upset about the crowd or the music, but the physics of the surface itself. She filed a formal injury report claiming the ice was negligently slippery after she fell down twice. She argued the rink should texture the surface to provide more traction for beginners. Lady, it is frozen water. Friction was never invited to the party. 38. Math is apparently optional for some holiday shoppers. A woman caused a massive line at a checkout counter because she refused to pay $50 for a $50 gift card. She screamed that since it was a gift, she should get a bulk discount or tax exemption on the currency. She couldn't grasp that she was simply exchanging one form of money for another. That is how the economy works, genius. 39. When you bring the outdoors inside, nature usually comes with it. A family bought a fresh-cut pine tree and then called the farm in a panic because they found a single spider on a branch. They demanded the farm pay for a professional exterminator to tent their entire house. They claimed they were sold an infested biohazard rather than a holiday decoration. It is a tree, folks, not a piece of sterile hospital equipment. 40. Generosity can be confusing for the simple-minded. An uncle bought a Adopt a Polar Bear charity kit as a gift for his nephew, thinking it would be a huge hit. He later called the World Wildlife Fund furious that a live 500-pound apex predator was not delivered to his sister's front door. He genuinely thought for $20 they mailed you a real bear. FedEx has a strict policy against shipping man-eaters. 41. Green energy concepts clearly went over this guy's head. He returned a set of solar-powered Christmas path lights because they wouldn't turn on at night. The customer service rep asked if they were getting sunlight, and the man admitted they were currently buried under 2 feet of snow. He blamed the product for not being winterproof and harvesting energy from the cold. Solar panels need the sun, not magic snow vibes. 42. The U.S. military actually tracks Santa, but one parent expected better tactical precision. She called the NORAD hotline to complain that the online Santa tracker was lagging behind her child's bedtime. She accused the Air Force of ruining the immersion because the digital Santa was still over Europe when he should have been in Kentucky. I promise you, the Pentagon has bigger problems than your kid's sleep schedule. 43. Coffee shops turn into battlegrounds every December. One customer threw a tantrum because his holiday latte was served in a plain red cup with no snowflakes or reindeer. He accused the barista of waging a war on Christmas and trying to erase his religion with cardboard minimalism. He demanded a refund for the coffee because the cup didn't make him feel festive enough. It is a beverage container, sir, not a political manifesto. 44. Basic chemistry is a struggle for online shoppers. A woman ordered a glass snow globe and left it sitting on her porch in sub-zero temperatures for 8 hours. When she opened the box, the globe had cracked and leaked everywhere. She left a 1-star review blaming the artist for using cheap glass that couldn't handle the weather. Water expands when it freezes. You should have learned that in 3rd grade. 45. Cooking requires tools, but this guy decided to wing it. He called a turkey hotline in a rage because his bird didn't come with one of those little plastic pop-up timers. He refused to cook the turkey, claiming it was a safety hazard because he wouldn't know when it was done. The operator suggested using a meat thermometer, but he insisted that was too technical. Enjoy the salmonella, buddy. 46. Retail workers suffer enough, but this complaint was just petty. A shopper filed a formal noise complaint against a department store because they played Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You" 3 times in 1 hour. She claimed the repetition was psychological torture and demanded the manager switch the playlist to smooth jazz immediately. To be fair, she might have a point on this one. 47. Going out to eat on Christmas Day implies you accept certain realities. One diner left a 0-tip receipt with a note complaining that his waitress looked sad and didn't wish him a Merry Christmas with enough enthusiasm. He felt his holiday meal was ruined by her lack of visible joy while she was working a double shift away from her family. You are the reason she is miserable, sir. 48. Some folks really hate joyful noise. A resident in a gated community called the police to report a group of Christmas carolers for illegal solicitation. When the cops arrived, they found out the singers weren't asking for money, they were just singing. The homeowner still insisted they be removed for loitering with intent to annoy. Someone woke up on the wrong side of the chimney. 49. Glitter is the herpes of the craft world, but you know that when you buy it. A mother tried to sue a wrapping paper company for property damage because the glitter from the paper wouldn't come out of her carpet. She claimed the product was defective because it shed sparkles everywhere when touched. She wanted them to pay for a professional steam cleaning. Once you invite glitter into your home, it never leaves. 50. One homeowner called his electric company in January, screaming about his bill. He admitted to covering his house in 10,000 lights, but argued the utility company should subsidize the cost as a public service to the neighborhood. He actually claimed that charging him for spreading joy was un-American and demanded a festive discount. Sir, the meter doesn't run on holiday spirit. It runs on kilowatts. 51. Online shopping has created a new breed of entitlement. A father filed a complaint against a delivery driver for leaving a bicycle box on the porch where his kids could see it. He wanted the driver to break into his locked garage or hide the massive box in the landscaping to preserve the surprise. Because apparently, breaking and entering is part of the standard shipping fee. 52. A gym member walked in on December 26th and tried to cancel his annual membership for a full refund. His reasoning wasn't about the equipment, but the fact that the gym didn't send him a Christmas card. He claimed the lack of a personalized holiday greeting proved they didn't care about his fitness journey. I guess he needs emotional validation more than a treadmill. 53. One shopper returned a high-end artificial tree because she said it was false advertising. The box clearly stated it was made of PVC plastic, but she insisted the manufacturer should have infused the branches with organic pine oil so it smelled real. She demanded a refund for olfactory disappointment and a free bottle of air freshener. Just buy a candle and get over it. 54. A man called 911 because his local liquor store was closed on Christmas Day. He told the dispatcher that running out of eggnog brandy constituted a medical emergency for his mental health. The police politely informed him that sobriety is not a life-threatening condition, though his misuse of emergency services might be. 55. TV stations get weird calls, but this one is gold. A viewer filed a formal FCC complaint because a channel aired the movie Die Hard on Christmas Eve. She claimed the violence was inappropriate for Jesus' birthday and demanded the network apologize for not showing a cartoon instead. Yippee-ki-yay, Karen. 56. Retail employees hate this trick, but this guy really committed to the bit. He tried to return a $50 gift card for cash, claiming it was defective. The cashier scanned it and found the balance was zero because the customer had already used it. He argued that the card should recharge itself as a loyalty perk for good customers. That is not how money works in any economy. 57. A hardware store manager had to explain basic physics to an angry customer during a blizzard. The man returned a snow shovel because it didn't make the snow easier to lift. He expected the shovel to have some kind of ergonomic anti-gravity feature to save his back. It is a manual tool, buddy, not a magic wand. 58. Most people enjoy holiday music, but not this lady. She sprayed a garden hose at a group of carolers standing on the public sidewalk because they were singing off-key. She told the responding officers she was defending her property from audio assault and demanded the singers be arrested for noise pollution. That is one way to dampen the holiday spirit. 59. A church received a hate mail letter regarding their outdoor nativity scene. The writer was furious that the baby Jesus doll looked too chubby and claimed it promoted childhood obesity. She demanded the church replace the Savior with a slimmer, more athletic-looking infant to set a better example. I am pretty sure the Son of God is exempt from your diet culture. 60. The day after Christmas is a bloodbath for retail returns. One woman demanded a store refund her the difference on a TV she bought in November because it was on sale for a cheaper price on December 26th. When they refused due to the 30-day policy, she accused them of punishing organized people. Next time, just procrastinate like the rest of us. 61. A passenger on a holiday flight caused a scene because the flight attendant refused to wear a Santa hat. He claimed her professional uniform was depressing and ruined his vacation vibe. He actually wrote a letter to the airline CEO suggesting mandatory festive headwear for all crew members during December. I think the pilot focuses better without a fuzzy pom-pom in his eyes. 62. A bakery customer tried to return a dense fruitcake 3 months after Christmas. She admitted she didn't eat it, but used it as a festive doorstop for the holiday season. Now that she was done with it, she wanted her money back, arguing that the cake was multi-purpose and she should be able to rent it. At least she found a use for fruitcake, which is a miracle in itself. 63. One eagle-eyed mother filed a bizarre complaint against a mall Santa because he was wearing a gold wedding ring. She argued that since Mrs. Claus wasn't sitting right there next to him, the ring confused her child and introduced complex marital themes too early. She insisted Santa remove his ring during work hours to maintain the fantasy of a solitary gift giver. Lady, let the man love his wife. 64. Cultural awareness isn't everyone's strong suit. A family dining at a traditional sushi restaurant on Christmas Eve left a scathing review because the staff didn't wish them a Merry Christmas. They claimed the generic Happy Holidays greeting was an attack on their values, ignoring the fact that they were eating raw fish in a Japanese establishment. Read the room, folks. 65. A city council in a southern state received a petition demanding they seed the clouds to ensure snow for the local Christmas parade. The organizer claimed that a green Christmas was bad for local business, and the city government was being lazy by not manipulating the weather patterns for better aesthetics. I didn't know the mayor also served as a wizard. 66. Personalization is a permanent decision, but not for this shopper. She tried to return a high-end bathrobe embroidered with her husband's initials because they got divorced 2 days after Christmas. She argued the store should remove the stitching and refund her because the marriage was defective. Unless you find another guy named Bob, you are stuck with that robe. 67. One customer returned a scented candle labeled Fresh Pine because she claimed it smelled too much like a cleaning product. The manager pointed out that pine is literally used in cleaning products because it smells like pine. She demanded a candle that smelled like a Christmas tree, but not the forest part. I think she just wants a candle that smells like nothing. 68. Neighbor disputes are festive traditions, but this one is paranoid. A man called the cops because his neighbor's inflatable Santa was staring at him. He claimed the plastic figure was positioned to look directly into his kitchen window, causing him psychological distress while he ate breakfast. The police report noted that the wind had simply turned the Santa around. It is an inflatable doll, sir, not a surveillance drone. 69. A theater manager received the ultimate Karen complaint after a performance of The Nutcracker. The woman demanded a full refund for her tickets because no actual nuts were cracked on stage during the show. She claimed the title was false advertising and implied she expected a culinary demonstration rather than a ballet. I really hope she never goes to see Swan Lake. 70. And that was 69 real complaints from people somehow surviving adulthood with seasonal stupidity levels set to maximum. Now I need to know, which of these lunatics would you ban from Christmas forever, and why? Name them by number and defend your choice in the comments. If this madness made you laugh, gasp, or question humanity even once, hit that like button and subscribe. Because trust me, the next video gets even dumber.